Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I hope you're having a good weekend. But one thing that wasn't good was the fight between Regis Prograis and Danielito Zorrilla of Puerto Rico. This was a dull fight, and it was dull because Zorrilla made it dull. His tactics, or the corner tactics if you like, were defuse the bomb known as Regis Prograis, who can be an explosive fighter, we know that, and make him reach, make him lean in, make him be the front runner, the front foot fighter, and you counter punch, clock him, and basically outbox him. But this was one of those fights where it was like, one guy could and the other guy couldn't. I mean, Prograis was trying to get in close, trying to move in, and Zorrilla, he'd pop him occasionally. He did score, I think, a knockdown that wasn't called in the first round with a right hand. He's an orthodox fighter, Zorrilla. Prograis is a southpaw, but as Prograis was coming in late in the first round, Zorrilla clocked him with a right hand, and I think put Prograis over. Prograis fell forward, grabbed Zorrilla around the waist, and they both hit the deck. But I think it was a knockdown, and it wasn't called. So, and then for the last maybe 15-20 seconds of the first round, the fight really did break out. But in the second round, clearly Zorrilla's tactics were evident, because having done that, you would think that he would at least try to force the fight against Prograis. He didn't. He just followed him around, basically, and Prograis followed Zorrilla around, because Zorrilla was just running, skipping side to side, and occasionally he would stop and exchange just very, very briefly. But in the corner, they were saying to their fighter, the Puerto Rican corner was saying, look, just, make it a dull fight. Make him reach, make him commit, and then you counter. That was the entire tactical game plan, and Prograis, he didn't really fall into it, because he didn't lose his patience and go wild. He just couldn't get close. When he did get close, he was unloading, but not many punches were landing. Apart from in the third round, where Prograis did catch Zorrilla with this weird punch. It was an incorrectly thrown punch. He landed it sort of with, this part, almost the palm of the backhand, which would be his left hand. And over goes Zorrilla, fell backwards and almost, his legs and backside in the air, and he almost did a backwards roly-poly and gets up, and he was okay. He wasn't really shaken, but Prograis tore after him in the third round, this was, and just couldn't catch him, and Zorrilla didn't want to know. And for the rest of the fight, it was always a case of Zorrilla trying to steal the rounds. But they were difficult to score. I mean, I scored this, I think, 115, 113 for Prograis. But it could have gone either way, because the rounds were such non-events. Like I say, one guy desperately trying to be proactive, and the other guy trying to be as negative as possible, but at the same time scoring points occasionally, And the cards were all over the place. I mean, one was a 118, 109 to Prograis, which is, I think, way, way too wide. The other winning card for Prograis, which won him this split decision, was a 117, 110. Again, I thought, I don't know. I mean, that seemed wide to me. I think those two judges were probably giving Prograis rounds just because Zorrilla was so negative, and they thought, I'm not giving him a round. Even though he may have landed more punches, I don't care. He's so negative, I'm not doing it. Whereas the third card, which was for Zorrilla, was 114, 113. So, 7 rounds to 5. I mean, it's point off with a knockdown. But you could have gone for anything in this fight. It was a total non-event of a fight. I'm glad Prograis won, because he was the guy trying to fight. Zorrilla was the guy trying to sort of steal the rounds and ultimately steal the belt. And this was in New Orleans, which is where Rougarou, as he calls himself, Prograis, is from. So I'm glad Prograis won. I mean, Zorrilla, he lost a unanimous decision, which was quite wide, if I remember rightly, to Arnold Barbosa Jr. That was last year. And that was his only defeat coming in. But if you're going to win a title, you've got to go after the guy. You've got to really put it on him. Otherwise, what's the point? It's terrible waste opportunity. I can understand maybe making the fight boring and scoring points for, say, the first half of it, or even 2/3 of it. But in those the last third of the fight, you've got to put it on the guy to take. You've got to leave no doubt. Nah. We can see the back of this fight. It wasn't good. Prograis at 34 is. I've always thought he can be outboxed. You know, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a good fighter. I'm not slagging him off, but he can be outboxed. And Zorrilla obviously recognised this and thought, well, I'm just going to nitpick my way to a win. Well, you didn't, mate. And to be honest, you didn't deserve it either. You got to take the title. You got to do more than that. So, did you see this fight? It was on DAZN. Not really the way Prograis wanted to start his DAZN career, but that's the way it is. If you saw it, leave your comments below. What do you think? What do you think of Prograis? Do you think he's slowed down a little bit, maybe at 34? I mean, you can't really judge him on this because it was so negative. Zorrilla's 29 and very tall. Well, he looked taller than Prograis anyway. But if he wants to win a world title, he's got to do better than this. What did you think? Leave your comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you could. Just hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like the video. And I'm looking forward to seeing your comments. As always, I'll reply. Thanks for your time. Bye for now.